Hello, this is Chris from Deus Ex Machina, and I am with
Dave from Rampant Wolf Games. And today we're going to be talking about Chronicles of Crime.
Roll the Credits.
Alright. So, for those who don't know, this game is basically in that vein of everything else that's coming out these days. It is a deduction game where you take on the roles of...
What other games are like that? There's a couple.
There's
Sherlock Holmes.
There is Detective. There is L.A. Noire. L.A. Noire is that? No, sorry. It's the other expansion to Detective. There is...
Is Scotland Yard in that? No.
No. But I mean, even a lot of your but
I would go so far
exit games.
Yeah, this is actually a lot similar to other games like the Exit and Time Stories. I was going to say Time Stories. In that there is a much more free-form play style.
Yeah.
Where it's not like, I'm going, something bad happens, something good happens, and it's your turn. Mm-hmm. Something bad happens, something good happens, and we move on. And then you continue this escalating horribleness until you always come out at the end, at the skin of your teeth just before the end.
Yeah.
This one's definitely similar to... I think Time Stories is actually very similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually wager that this is almost a carbon copy, but they approached it in different ways.
I think it's better.
I haven't said better or worse. I'm not commenting. I'm talking about the way it is. Like, both of these games are off of time.
Yes.
Time Stories, you're going... The in-games, the theme is that you're going into modules, going back in time to assume people, and you have a certain amount of time in these people's bodies, a la Quantum Leap, before you get pulled back out. And you have to find the temporal vortex and prevent it from causing this temporal paradox, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through that deck of cards, completely analog. And every time you do something, time passes. Mm-hmm. And if you finish the game before you run out of time, you win. If not, you lose. But then within the theme, you get pulled out, and then you can play that game again. And this time you know certain things, so you get to circumvent, make certain mistakes.
Yeah.
And even to the point where if you reach a certain point, you get permanent boosts. So if you play the game a second time, you know certain locations are up. But it's a game also that you're expected to lose the first time because you're going to probably screw up.
Yeah.
So it's a game you end up having to play twice.
Yeah.
But they give you a lot of other options. This, same thing. Only this time, instead of going back in time, we're unnamed, unformed, amorphous police officers that are investigating a murder, and we have a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. Everything players do eats up time. Every question is 5 minutes. Every location is 20.
Yeah. Yeah, and so let's just dive right in. So starting off with theme.
Well, before we do that, I need to stress one thing before we go into that. There's one distinct difference mechanically between this and the other games. And that was the amount of percentage of this game which is digital and how much is analog.
Yes.
Time Stories is completely analog.
Yes.
Exit is partially. It runs a timer, and that's really it.
Yeah, I was going to say otherwise it's completely analog.
Completely analog, but it has a timer, and the app gives you a timer, but also gives you a score based on that.
Consulting Detective is
80%.
That was the other one. City of it's just coming out. I have it coming. It's Detective City of Angels. Is the other one's coming out.
Yeah. So this game is almost 70-30 digital to analog. I mean, I thought your World of Yoho had a huge digital component. This is nothing. This this takes Time Stories, makes the entire deck of cards that you buy completely digital. Mm-hmm. So instead of having to go to a game store and buying the next episode of Time Stories for $30, you download an episode for $6.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. The entire storyline is in that app. And you're just reusing these components over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. For me, brilliant.
Oh, yeah. You kidding me? Like, that's so much more impressive. Well, you're saving yourself so much more money.
Oh, yeah.
And you can, like right then and there.
It's reusable.
It's, exactly.
Reusable components.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, go back to what you were saying. So, on theme first. Theme solid.
Oh, yeah. When we were playing this, I felt sucked in. Like, when it comes down to it and you're, like, trying to solve it and there's a reason why you're trying to solve it and your time is, like, we were all four of us sitting there and we were discussing because we were down to that wire. It was like, well, we have X amount of time to figure, because we got to the point where we had an hour before something really bad was going to happen. And so it was like, okay, no more screwing around, or let it. You know, we weighed every single option at that point.
Yeah.
And we got in barely. Which the part that we found hilarious was that we thought we got by the skin of our teeth, but we actually got 130 out of 100.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, we like completely rocked this game. It was satisfying. That was the other thing. Like, I have not played many games lately where I was satisfied after playing. It was kind of it was a game. This one I was just like, yeah.
Another game that was similar, obviously mechanically, but has a similar, not even close to theme, which is one thing this game also does that the other games don't, is the VR element.
Yes.
Now, how do you manifest your the virtual?
I do it with an iPad.
So you just do this.
Yeah.
I actually have a drop-in headset.
Yeah.
So we can hit it and close it and go right to your face. That is crazy good. There's another game that we have called Maskmo Eye, which I mentioned, which we talked about in another video, which came out first, so they get credit for actually having a VR element integrated into the game, where one person's describing, like, I see this, I see this, I see this.
Yeah.
Right? And so you go through that video and you go like this, and well, actually it's a still image, and you look through and you have 60 seconds, and you go, I see garbage, I see this, I see this, I see this, I see a shovel.
Yeah.
I see all of that, and then when you finally get the whole thing done, I'm like, okay. And then you can pass it out to someone else, and then they can look through it if they want, and then eventually you spell out these clues. That is really, really neat.
Yes.
Drew me into. You are forced to trust that other person, though, because you can have two people looking at. Here, when you put the headset on, no one's seeing this but you.
Yeah.
And I also know some people were really bad at it, like, you do it. I'm like, okay, it's a timer, but okay.
Yeah. Well, we passed it, when we did it, we passed it around our entire group, so everyone got a chance to look at the scene.
Oh, really? You did that? Us is just like one person, and then that's it.
No, we let everyone look around it. And
we gave people turns, but every single scene was seen once by one person.
Yeah, no, we let everybody look around the scene, because for us, it was just like, that's the whole thing. You've got all these detectives here looking around the scene. How many players were in your group? There was 4 people total.
Oh, okay, so 4 total, yeah. 4 of us, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, every scene we got 4 people looking at it.
Let's talk about this. Why does it list 1 to 4 players? There's no turns in this game. This could be a
6-player, 8-player,
30-player.
Yeah. I think it was arbitrary.
They did that because they didn't want to convey it's a party game.
Yeah.
If you say 1 to 20 players, people go, "Oh, it's a party game."
I think they also did it for time-wise.
Their marketplace. Yeah, I know. The moment you do that, because as a real time, it's not real time. I was worried it was going to be real time. I was happy it wasn't real time. Like Time Story, once again, like Time Stories. It costs minutes, but that's it.
Yeah. But, I mean, and I think that's why they put it to 1 to 4, because they want to keep it under that magical 60 to 90 minutes.
You couldn't. So, in case you're wondering, if you want to have a 5th or a 6th, you can.
Yeah.
It's not going to change anything.
You just have more eyes looking on it, which is better.
Exactly. Like, it's almost one of those things where 4 people, the game's not a good challenge. At 12 people, it becomes easy because everyone's talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Because make sure you have a games master. Make sure that there's a chief...
A lead detective.
It's British. Make sure there's a chief superintendent leading the investigation.
The interesting thing I found out about this game, it was kickstarted.
Done by the same people
who do that Kingdom Rush.
Yes.
I know.
Which we're just talking about in another video.
The expansion for this is LA Noir. Really interested to see what that one is like.
Does that require a physical component? It does, doesn't it? There's a physical expansion as well as the app, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a physical expansion, yeah. I've got it. The third expansion...
Oh, yeah, you do own it.
Yeah, it's in here. It all fits in the same box.
Yeah, it does.
That was just like...
We'll get into that. We'll get to components.
Yeah, we'll get to components. The third expansion, Welcome to Redview.
Which they are not saying much about yet.
You're in the 80s, and you're a bunch of kids, so you don't have all the forensic
Stranger
stuff.
Stranger
Things.
It's the Goonies.
It is yes, exactly. And I'm just like, this is going to be interesting, because
you know what?
And it's family oriented, so there's no murders.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's complete.
Oh, so it's like Stand By Me, where it's like there's a dark, insidious edge.
Yeah.
If they're typing Stranger Things, ching. If they do one sentence space, it's like okay, because this is the strangest thing. This is stupid. I'll tell you off topic, but I rediscovered Star Cops.
Yeah.
Which was a British TV show from the late '80s, and it only went for 9 episodes. It actually is back as a radio play.
Yeah.
And all the original actors are back because they can play themselves being 30, even though they're all like 80 years old now. But I'm like, if you do like a criminal investigation in space, take my money.
Yeah, I really hope
Because Chronicles
they do more with this.
It expands out. It's like, well, just like Time Stories, we can do any crime story you want.
Exactly, and I really
like True
hope
Detective,
they do more.
like almost like Cthulhu-like.
Because if they kickstart another one, I take my money. Because literally, we played other stuff, and every single person that was playing that game that night, we were just like, you just felt a sense of victory. It was just like, yeah, we beat it.
Now, we failed our first one, and I think there was a...
Level of alcohol involved?
Yes. It was at the end of copious amounts of alcohol. Now, not all of us have been drinking, though. Remember?
I think you should have shared the scenes. That was the fall down.
Yeah, there was sharing, but the biggest problem was there was a disconnect between our comprehension of how the rules should be played. We very quickly realized like we have to talk to this person. Let's go there. We go there. We weren't done with the location we were at, and we weren't thorough enough. So what killed us is that we kept on bouncing between 14 locations.
Oh, yeah.
We just added time because we didn't know what to ask. Instead of asking habitual questions, I was so concerned about running out of the 5-minute questions. We would jump to waste 20 minutes going to a location, then realize we had to ask this guy a question, and so our time just devoured.
Yeah,
it devoured, and I think there was also a logical disconnect that we failed. We failed to make one connection, and this is a game where if you don't ask there are certain key things you have to connect.
Yeah.
If you don't make that connection, you could be running around in circles waiting and then banging your head, and then time literally runs out. They give you the solution, but we don't. We're gonna try it again because obviously we weren't in the right mindset for this.
Yeah,
and we want to try it again and create and try to play it right.
Yeah,
I'll say that the game was incredibly popular. My fiance was hating on this game at the beginning. There was something she had a resistance to it. I don't know what it was. But the other person that was playing, I literally got the game not for my fiance, but for my friend's wife, because I knew we're trying to find a game that she loves, because she loves board games, but the games that the rest of us really love, like the real meaty games, like Gloomhaven and so forth, she doesn't care for. So we try to find games that she likes. She loved Time Stories. So when I heard like this killed Time Stories, I was like, and it's a crime. Okay. This is because it's not fantasy, not sci-fi, and it scored. Absolutely, it was absolutely a hit. Like she's like, this game is amazing. So
we finished our case, and I bought all the expansion cases, digital ones, instantly. Like right away, I was just like, click, 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 take my money.
Yeah, we're gonna do. We'll be doing that. So that's theme. Thematics, absolutely. What's next?
Aesthetics.
There's not much.
There's not much, but what you see in the app and the cards.
The app is very well made.
Yep.
I did find, and this is almost a mechanical issue. I was a little annoyed that you have to kind of keep on reminding yourself that you have to go to a location to talk to someone.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're asking a question to someone instead of going to that location to ask that person something. Yes. It's some of those things you have to remind yourself to.
I had to remind myself I had to actually scan the clues first before I could start like using them.
Yeah.
Which threw me off because it was just like I blew 20 minutes because I was just, the forensic person was just like, I need an actual piece of evidence. I'm like, this is the piece. Scan another one. I need an actual piece. And I was like, God damn it. Scanned everything in from left her, scanned everything in from the scene. You found a clue. I'm like, go back to the forensic. I'm just like, okay, now you want to tell me about this? She's like, oh, look what you found. It's like,
yeah. That was it. We also weren't talking to them nearly enough.
Yeah.
Because we always felt like we had to be careful, and we had realized that no, what we needed to do is get all the information.
Yes.
We needed to get all the information, and we were like, we don't have the time to call this person, and we realized, You have to. If someone's
Yep.
missing information, you have to talk to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's So there, it's definitely the artwork that is there is effective.
Yes. It fits
But
the
I need
scene.
people to stress that there isn't a lot
No.
to it.
No. But I would classify the aesthetics also of the VR portion of the app.
The VR, like I said, when you
Oh.
pop it into a pair of goggles.
Or even just looking around, it's just like, oh yeah. No,
yeah,
it was
but the
freaking
goggles
amazing.
is good. The goggles, I mean, there's a little bit of distortion, but it works.
Yeah.
It really works.
Yeah. All right. Replayability.
Well, beyond the fact that if you do screw up, you can start over. But unlike Time Stories, there isn't a thematic justification for it. You quite literally are playing that episode, and you get to, like Time Stories, go in with your previous knowledge.
Yeah.
So you get to go in but you still got to scan the right things to make those connections.
I will say there is replayability. I'm going to go with it for the simple fact of,
There's a lot of episodes.
well, no, but the components. Nothing gets ripped up.
No, it's not
There's no name. Everything has QR codes on it. So all the characters are named as cards.
But like Time Stories you play through once and you're most likely going to fail. You play through it twice, and unless you have people that insist on doing stupid things, like in my group, then chances are you're going to finish it on your second playthrough. And then you got to spend the $25. But Chronicles of Crime is a bit different. I think that if you fail going through it the first time, or you get a score that's not perfect, well, I still don't think I'm going to play that episode again. So you get one playthrough compared to two playthroughs. The difference is that in Time Stories you get one module, and you got to spend $30 or $25 to get the second module. This game comes with 3 episodes.
5.
Well, if you count the tutorial.
Nope, 5 scenarios.
5 scenarios in this box. Yeah, well, one of them's a tutorial, so.
I think it's actually got 5 and the tutorial.
Okay, I don't know. I think because there's 3 connected stories.
Yes,
and then
but there's scenarios. There's 3 in one-on-one.
Okay, and then there's standalones.
Yeah.
And then you can buy the additional episodes for about $6 each, which is very reasonable.
And then you have LA Noire, which I have no idea how much is in the...
Oh, yeah, but those the other 2, those are expansions, so we won't talk about them. So in the core game, you get 5 episodes you can play. Yeah. That's 5 game sessions. And that was very logical, because 5 to 6 game sessions on a box, any box, seems to be the thing.
Yeah.
Seems like so many games that have limited playthroughs, they're going to give you at least 5 or 6. Same thing with another game.
I don't think the price point was all that high. I can't remember what it was.
Price point's friggin' cheap. Are you kidding me? This game's like $35.
Yeah, it's $35.
You know why? Because this game's got nothing in it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in components, because this game's got nothing in it. But yeah, no, replayability, you could replay a mission, but no, missions in one shot only. I say if you feel really, really badly, then yeah, you can try it again. But chances are, if you screw up your second time, you're going to find out the answer.
But replayability in the sense of being able to reuse all the same components with downloadable content.
True.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, so you're not destroying any components, but there's no denying that from a replayability standpoint, like you said, the 2 expansions add more cards, so you can't play them without those expansions. So we're looking at best, probably 8 or 9. I can't remember how many additional missions you can buy. I think there's 3 or 4 that you can buy.
I think it's 3.
Yeah, so like 9 missions tops with this game, which doesn't have all. It's not like Gloomhaven when you have 125 playthroughs.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is replayability, but it's not. Just people be honest with that. The fact that you will get 5 playthroughs before you got to drop down some extra money.
Yeah. All right. Next up is game length. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, no, you can play the game.
It was just right.
Under 90 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was a game where I was just like, whew, is this game over yet? I was...
It was tense because the time is ticking,
yeah.
Even though the clock isn't actually moving.
Yeah. So for me, game length, perfect.
Yeah.
Manual, never even opened it.
Manual, well, there's a tutorial that walks you through.
Yeah.
The manual gives you some good pointers, but it's not 100% necessary. The tutorial's enough.
Yeah, the tutorial, like I said, we never even used the manual. Like, it's out on the table. I never opened it once the entire night.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, we did in ours, because we felt that if there was something we were missing, because once again, we hit this intractable logical gap we couldn't figure out, so we thought perhaps we were missing something. So.
Yeah. Learning curve.
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah, it's easy.
That being said, It's an easy game to learn, easy game to play.
And an easy game to lose.
Well, no, what I'm going to say is that there are certain intuitive leaps the game doesn't explain. In the tutorial, it basically spoon feeds you the solution.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, and it blatantly was like, oh, I did it, and I was happy to do it, and I did it this way. So when you go to make the case, you're like, well, I was literally told the answer.
Yeah.
Where in some of the later ones, it's like you have to know it.
Yeah, and I guess part of that is
it's not going to have that moment in a crime story where the bad guy finally admits his crimes and tells you everything.
See, I think also part of that is the mindset, because I mean, I've been playing detective by Portal Games, and so I'm already these days in that mindset of trying to like make the connections.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just kind of like it was second nature. So I was already in that sleuthing mind frame.
Yeah, we were making those connections, but we were waiting for a eureka moment, but we didn't know how to convey that eureka moment using the game mechanics. And that's what hit us hard, because we're like, well, we know what's happened. Mm-hmm. We know we have an idea who did it, and we know what we have to do. We don't know how to communicate that to the game. And that was our biggest problem with that first episode. Because we were trying to... We were meta-analyzing the game almost too much. We were looking at it in real life. This is what we would be doing, but we can't communicate that in the game because the game is entirely communicating by scanning things, scanning QR codes. So you can't confront someone about something.
Yeah, you can. You just go to that location, you scan that person.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes we would like to ask this person something very specific, but we didn't have the right combination of cards to do it. But we knew what we wanted to ask them.
Yeah,
but we didn't know how to do it.
The thing that I found interesting is that we went to certain locations and the person wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because of the time of the day.
Yeah, and then they would come back later.
Which I was just like, okay, so that to me added some dynamics.
That was the dynamic time of day was very useful. The fact that some people aren't there at certain places and so forth.
Yeah. And it actually turned out we missed the bad guy by like an hour.
Yeah.
And then we went back to Scotland Yard and was like, this is the guy who did it. They caught him and, it was close. So, yeah. It was good. So, mechanics.
This is where things will get interesting.
Yeah.
You first.
Not the greatest. It's not the greatest mechanics having to scan stuff all the time. But I know why they did it. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on it. I'm like, that's the best way to do it ever. But I'm okay with it. And I will give them a pass. It's a little clunky to scan. Little clunky. But it all depends on who you're playing with. If you can keep the session alive with people paying attention and stuff.
Yeah. I was surprised initially how much of the app is involved.
Yeah.
And this is there's two issues that come into play. There can be the potential. Even I felt I was trying to be actively not trying to be an alpha gamer, but whoever holds the phone holds the power.
Oh yeah.
And I can see this if you have an alpha gamer who really likes taking control, and he has that phone, he's running the show.
Oh yeah.
And this game could really fall into that curse of having one guy, because it also feels like a solitaire game because one person's scanning the app. So it's one of those situations where I thought, is there a turn? Do I hand it over? I kept on looking for that rule. Because in time stories, there's still a mechanical system of the group agrees, puts their tokens down, and then they all pick up their cards and start reading them privately. But there's a structure. This game is like an exit room in which there is no structure. Mm-hmm. But in an exit room, you can literally have two people looking at different things. Mm-hmm. So if you have a large enough group, you're like, these three people are working on this puzzle, these three people are working on this puzzle, they're kind of working on different ideas, and you collaborate. Yeah. Where in this one, we're all staring at the same story, but ultimately one guy is reading out. And sometimes you're like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Well, what do you mean? It doesn't mean anything. Don't worry about it. He reads it and makes a judgment call. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly, that communication level breaks down. Or whoever's looking through that element tells people and so forth. Like, I was in a situation when we were playing the game where my fiance didn't want to look through the app, and no one wanted to use the scanning, so I was literally doing everything. And I was trying to get people to, please, speak up. I can't do everything on my own.
I didn't have that problem because it was basically like, all right, I'm looking around the room. Okay, I'm done. Hand off to the next person. Okay, looking around, I'm seeing this, this, and this. Oh, I see this. Oh, I didn't see that. Good. They're done. Hand off to the next person. So 4 different views of the same scene.
Yeah. I think it was one of the situations where we probably have to let the people do that. Let every single person pass off and then see what they can see.
Yeah.
Regardless of timetable, just so people can feel that they're contributing.
I think you only burn 5 minutes per view.
Yeah.
So if you in a 4-player group, that's 20 minutes. It's like it costs that much time going to a scene.
Yeah.
You may as well make use of it.
Yeah, that's very true. But for me, it's the fact that you're scanning. So, and this is where things get interesting. 2 years ago, this game bombs.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was a lot of hate for...
there was so much hate, because you and I have defended app integration.
Yep.
We've been on the stance of saying that it's an opportunity that people shouldn't... That's why I think World of Yoho came out too early.
Yeah.
Came out too early.
Oh, yeah. I recommend this to a person who loves detective games and stuff like that. And his exact question was, how much of it is app? And I told him, he's just like, yeah, no, pass. I'm like, gotta give it a chance.
Gotta let it go. But some people were just like, I do not want to play a game that's going to get app obsolescence. That's the first thing, app obsolescence. I play board games to get away from my digital component.
Yep.
Those are the 2 big arguments.
Yep.
I don't want app obsolescence, and I don't want... And there's 2 ironies I counter. I go... Because I had a conversation with Jason Peacock, and I went, it's interesting that Gloomhaven is basically a SSL or SSR Dungeons and Dragons computer game from the 90s that's been turned into a complete physical board game in order to completely strip out all the digital components. So you can get your classic dungeon crawl fantasy game in a tabletop format without a single digital component.
Yeah.
And now there's 6 apps to help you play that game.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
And people use them. So it's like, isn't the whole point is to get away from that? But no, there's a whole bunch of app assistants. I like the fact there's that Dungeons & Dragons. People are like, oh, Dungeons & Dragons, dice rolling and so forth. And yet Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds and Wolf Slayer are excruciatingly popular. These websites and app assistants, right? I have people coming to me and like, why haven't you done stuff for Wolf Slayer yet for my game? Like, why haven't you done it? My game is available on Fantasy Grounds now.
Yeah.
And I make actually money off of that because people use it, Roll20 and that is. But when they came out with D&D Insider 10 years ago for 4th edition, people hated it.
Yep.
They didn't want to spend $9 a month to play D&D. They wanted a physical component, and now everyone's embracing it because D&D Insider was 10 years too early. And Chronicles of Crime, and here's the funny thing is, and this is, I've checked Board Game Geek's review on this. This is like an 8.4 aggregate on Board Game Geek. And vast majority of the reviews are 8 stars and up. Game's amazing, great party deduction, all this. When you look at the negative reviews, the ones that have comments,
app integration,
uniform is always the same thing. App. They're not even bitching about the game. Like, this game mechanically flawed. I don't like this. It's a poor version of this. I think it's very poorly written. No. It's a pure philosophical disagreement with the game.
Yeah.
Even to the point of, I'm not even buying this game. They're review bombing it based purely on the app. And so I knew that was going to happen. I was surprised how few of those people there are. Because it wasn't like 5,000 people gave it an 8 review and then 3,000 people gave it a 1 review and then just overwhelmed. No, it's like 7. It's like 10 people have posted reviews talking about it. And I went, 2 years ago, this would have been review bombed as badly as Captain Marvel. And now we're in a situation where those people exist. They are reducing in number. Like they are not. And that's why this is apparently like the number 1 game in the market right now.
Oh, wow.
It and Wingspan are fighting. The difference is that this game was really easy to get to second printing. Wingspan has been having delays. So apparently they've sold 100,000 of these since their release.
I'd believe it.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. At $35 for a game, it's inexpensive.
Yep.
Right? And it's easy to get into.
Yep.
It's social.
Yep.
Practically a party game almost.
Yep.
And it has a very open theme. Crime, it's stories, right? And whenever anyone talks about, hey, fantasy novels, science fiction novels, they sell best. No. Crime novels outsell every... If you think Harry Potter sells well, you have no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Crime novels are everything.
Well, that's kind of like the whole, like, what was it, that South Park made that joke a while back about, it's like, all the parents were at night were watching murder TV.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's true.
Because this is a game that also transcends it. I can probably get people that would never play a board game. This is almost a gateway game.
Yeah.
That's why this touches on so many good things. But as we're talking about mechanics, though, the issue is, like, we do an unboxing.
Yeah.
And we do an unboxing for a game, and the unboxing for Who Goes There takes 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We do an unboxing for this game. It took 30 seconds. There was no punching.
Manual.
The manual is 6 pages.
Oh, that's another manual. You have a board.
That's not very big.
And then you have some cards.
And let's stress, this is the Noir deck, which doesn't come with it, which means you only get these 3.
These 2.
Those 2. No, you get 3.
These are 2 are the expansions.
Well, no, I separate them because there's star cards and then there are clue cards.
Yeah, but these are actually for the expansion. This is Red View, this is Noir, and this is the base game.
I have my star in my other decks because I have a lot of room. So yeah, you open this thing up and there isn't a lot of game in there.
No.
And they've got room for all the expansions.
Yep, they got room.
They even have room for the VR component, but
Yeah.
the VR component you got to buy separately.
Yep.
And people might get angry with that, the fact they're getting a giant box for 1/3 of a game because it has the room for all the expansions. Because if this game wanted to be, it could be a pocket-sized exit game. The number of cards in there, it could be an exit game. They made it big because if there's a psychological perception of a bigger box game, even though you open it up and going, oh, this is just a container for the other 2 expansions.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want a game with a lot of components, if you want a game with miniatures, this is not the game for you.
No.
This is not a game. This is a hybrid.
This is not the game? Weren't you just say, then play another game?
No, I'm not saying that. Dogs are in. Dogs are in. This is not a game. Because here's the thing. It's when I talk about entry levels for a game. Mm-hmm. I don't have an issue with games that are. I have issues with games that are too expensive. This game's cheap. So I don't believe that the app integration is a barricade for people to get into it. Because who doesn't have a phone? If you get 5 people together, you can be in Bangladesh and get 5 people together. One of them's going to have a smartphone.
Yeah.
So there's no barrier to entry for this game.
No. So last thing we're going to review is scalability. So the number of people you can play with, which we already covered on.
30 people. You
can play this as many as you want. It just depends on how long you want the game to last or how long it's going to go for.
Yep.
So. Alrighty. So that has been...
So what's your review on this? What's your rating on this game?
Rating on this one, I would give it 9 out of 10.
I give it an 8.5. It scripts on to a 9. I think I'm going to get a few more playthroughs, and it may justify go right to a 9. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I would probably put it 9. It's definitely my favorite game right now. So, and I'm glad it's beating out Wingspan, at least in my opinion.
I don't know if it's actually beating out Wingspan. I know they sold 100,000 and it's a big hit game right now. I guess we have to check the sales listing because right now, like with anything, certain games are successful, but they can't satisfy demand.
Yeah.
Wingspan's higher in demand. Because it's been hard to get on the market. Where now Chronicles of Crime, the new shipments hit, so now everyone can get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're selling out. I've noticed.
Oh yeah,
even what they've got, it's gone.
Yeah, but the thing is, they can get another shipment of this to game stores in like 2 months.
Yeah,
Wingspan actually has a lot of stuff in that. Yeah. I mean, if you see Wingspan's a deck of cards like that big, 190 cards.
Birds. Anyways, so yeah.
Yep. So that is our review for Chronicles of Crime. There's a shock. It's an amazing game.
It is.
I've been Chris.
And I've been Dave. And remember, the rules are just a suggestion. Play the game how you want to play it. Or at least listen to what the app tells you to do. And not be drunk.
Yeah, drunking, yeah. Yeah. If you're drunk, you will play the game the way you want to.
Oh, yeah.
You will ignore everything else.
Yeah. Yep.